In my opinion, credit scores are one of the most obscure and methodical concepts to a client. I've actually had clients tell me something they swore would help their credit when in fact it was the complete opposite. One of the many examples I have is when I had a client tell me that he never fully paid off his credit cards because paying interest helped him get a better credit score. I'm going to explain to you what determines your credit score, the best way to get and keep a high score, and some of the common myths about your FICO. First, let's go over what determines your credit score. There are 5 main factors. Coming in at about a third or 35% of your overall credit score is your payment history. Being late on any bills, or even worse, having them go into collections, is the easiest way to drop your credit score. The good thing is that if you've always been on time and for some reason you forget to pay bills one month, it won't impact you too much in the long run. Initially, yes, it'll drop a bit, but after a while it just fades away and your FICO score regains its original strength. The second largest factor is at 30%, which is the amount of money you owe. If you have 5, 10, or even more credit cards and they're all maxed out, it shows you're a high credit risk because you can't seemingly pay your bills off. Length of your credit history comes in at 15%. Ideally, you want 7 years or more, which is considered perfect for your credit history. Finally, at 10% each is new credit requests and type of credit mix in use. New credit is often in reference to how often your credit is ran, be it for a cell phone or a car loan or any other type of credit. If you're consistently running your credit, it's probably doing you some harm. Type of credit in use basically comes into what type of account you have open. The ideal situation is some mystery mix of a home loan and a car loan and 2 or 3 credit cards. That doesn't mean you should go out and get a car loan when it doesn't make sense financially. Remember, it's only a small factor, and so long as you have some credit in use, you'll be just fine. When it comes to getting and keeping a higher FICO score, there are a few guidelines you should follow. First and foremost is to make absolutely sure that you pay all your bills on time. As a reminder, I set an alarm on my phone, which is synced to my email. Every first of the month, my phone and Outlook both remind me that it's time to pay all my bills. Secondly, is the length of your credit. Ideally, you want 7 or more years of credit history. Finally, you want at least 2, but no more than 4 credit cards with really high limits. Other than these 3 things, the best way to get high score is to avoid any court judgments or past due bills or any collections. In regards to keeping your high score, note that credit cards usually become people's biggest downfall. Yes, you do want high credit limits on your credit cards, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to max them out. The fact that lenders trust you with a high credit limit is actually a good thing. The key is to never have more than 25 to 30% on one single card. For example, if you have 3 $10,000 limit credit cards, you don't want to have one card with $9,000 on it and the other 2 with nothing. Technically, you don't want $9,000 of credit card debt at all, but if this is your scenario, it's better to have the $3,000 spread out on each of the 3 credit cards. This makes it seem like you know how to handle your debt more efficiently. Now let's debunk some of the myths we all commonly hear. First, having to pay interest because you did not pay off your credit card in full will absolutely not help your credit score. Again, it is the debt to credit limit ratio. That will be taken into consideration. Second, that Best Buy payment plan that you've never been late on is going to help your credit score. This is, again, completely false. The only payment plans that will ever show up on your credit, as mentioned above, are structured payments, such as a house or a car, and revolving payments, such as credit cards, which we already talked about. Other things that will not show on your credit report unless they send you to collections are cell phone bills, electric bills, and even those stores that have their own credit cards without a Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or American Express logo on it. Remember, without any of those 4 logos, those credit cards do absolutely nothing to help your credit. Number 3, if you don't use your credit card that you've had for years on end, you should close the account. Again, this is false. Remember, long credit history is good. You especially don't want to close on this unused credit card if it has a high limit. In fact, you should probably use it once every few months on something very minor, such as socks or gas. Just make sure they don't close it due to inactivity. Remember, your FICO score is your reputation to the financial world. Guard it with your life. Just because you have a lower credit score doesn't necessarily mean you won't ever be able to get a loan for anything. But having a better credit score will almost guarantee that the same loan will be easier to finance and it will be much, much cheaper, saving you thousands to tens of thousands of dollars every year. Now that's good to know.